the club has made $1 million for my business, even while staying true to my lifestyle, to my needs, to my vision of time and location freedom. So I really want you to hear that. We can have our cake and eat it too. We can create scalable programs that serve with so much soul and get the most amazing outcomes at scale for people at this incredible level of impact, and still have boundaries and scope and kind of rules that we put into these things for ourselves so we don't lose the things we love as well. As a female online business owner with dreams of more income, more impact, and more freedom, you know there's more potential in your business waiting to be unlocked. But figuring out how to shape and transform your biz and get seen, loved, selling, and scaling can feel like, well, a mystery. So how do you cut through the noise, create offers that deeply resonate, sell and scale without you always being on, all while creating a life you love? That is exactly what this show is about. Welcome to Seen, Loved, Selling, Scale. I'm Corinda, your small biz marketing sidekick, digital offer strategist, and online biz bestie. With tens of thousands of digital offers sold, tens of thousands of people helped, and millions of dollars in revenue generated in my own business as a small business owner. And through this podcast, I am here to share it all. You'll gain clear, actionable insights, strategies, and shortcuts to master your online marketing, build scalable online offers, and create a business model that works for you as much as it works for your people, so you can grow your income, amplify your impact, and free up more of your time. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the episode of Seen, Loved, Selling, Scale that, if I am being really honest, I could never in my wildest dreams imagine creating. If you had said to me in 2021, when I started this membership at Corinda, in 3 and a bit years, you would have made $1 million from this space, chase this dream. Because that is exactly what this episode is about today. My low ticket membership that was started with a goal to have 100 people inside and just be a space where I could serve true to my values with accessibility, with authenticity, to deliver my knowledge in a way that didn't have a start or end date, that had a real community feel to it. This dream has achieved all of that and more. And from this type of online offer, I have been able to serve thousands and thousands of the most incredible women and people around the planet. I have been able to create true time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom for myself. I have been able to truly achieve my mission to help people with what this core subject was about in this membership on absolute steroids. And I want to take this episode to break down exactly how I have done this, because I know that there are so many incredible people that are listening to this show who either have a membership that they want to see succeed or are considering a membership in their own business. And I really want to give you the roadmap for how I was able to do this, and hopefully you can take some things away to inspire you or direct you in your pathway. So without further ado, let us jump in. So of course, this is the Seen, Love, Selling, Scale podcast. So I am going to break this down in how I got this membership seen, loved, selling, and scaling, because all online offers truly come down to these steps, and all business builds truly come down to these steps as well. So let's dive in and start to talk about seen. So the very first thing is that I want to note there are 2 main ways that I had this membership get seen, right? Because we cannot sell a secret. People need to know these amazing spaces or amazing offers that we have created actually exist. So the 2 main ways, when I look back across this journey to scaling to $1 million, I must add as well, with no full-time team. And I also must add that the membership actually didn't directly use ad budget to get seen, loved, selling, and scaling. There has been minute amount of ad budget spent on this particular offer over time, whether that be running some ads to a masterclass or two that I experimented with. We'll talk about that in selling later on. That actually didn't become part of this core success plan or my people and profit pathway for this offer. And on occasion, I've played around with some retargeting ads. So people who landed on my sales page, I run ads back to them if they didn't sign up to say, like, basically, don't forget that this existed. That's something that I've played around with, but we are literally talking loose change type ad strategies. We're just spent on this as experimentation. The lion's share of the ability to get this offer seen has come down to two things. And while it's actually a little bit difficult to figure out exactly how responsible for the success of this program either of these things have been, I've been able to do some loose calculations and look, roughly it comes out about 50-50. I've been able to go back through some past launches and things like that and have a look. And each of these things are basically responsible for about 50% of the visibility that this program has gotten overall and the signups that it's gotten. So the first thing is organic content marketing. And that is doing exactly what I teach and preach at the Content Mastery Club. And that is using social media, email marketing, brand, websites and sales pages, those types of things to get seen, to get loved, to get selling. So it is really just about positioning ourselves at that top of funnel. You know, for me, that is Instagram, for example, getting visibility there, not needing to go viral. I think I've gone viral like a handful of times in my entire life, and I do not wish it on my worst enemy because sometimes it is a truly terrible experience. This is really just about getting seen by the right people using Instagram. Once I've got someone's attention, I have an optimized bio, I have a magnetic brand so that when they check out my profile, they want to follow, they want to look further, and then my content is created on social media to move people forward. So I'm not here to get high views, high engagement, high likes to be really surface level. I'm here to catch their attention with some of my social media pillars and then move them to that next stage, compel them to show them I am the one, I am credible, they can trust my business, and then to move them forward. And the way that I move people forward is with freebies to my email list, and then I keep that email list warm. And then whenever the Content Mastery Club is open, I invite those people to come and look at the club. And then the offer and the sales page does the work for me. So that is responsible for about 50% of this success. And the other 50-ish%, and again, these are quite loose numbers. It could be like 60-40, anything like that, but you get the point, right? I'm going to say the other 50-ish% is from my better business fuel, and that is my low ticket digital offers. So if you don't know what a low ticket digital offer is, I won't be going into it in this episode, but essentially if you go back and have a look at my low ticket digital offer episode number 1, where I break down this strategy, it is where I have used these passive one-time products sold again via organic social media, but the lion's share of those get actually sold via ads marketing, via meta ads marketing, and I make a profit on that. So that's an income stream in my business. So I put this low ticket digital product out there. I run ads to it. It gets in front of my ideal audience. Those beautiful humans pay for this product. They come inside it. It gets them an outcome that starts their journey. It's one of their top pain points or desires at that very moment. And then within that product, I position the Content Mastery Club directly because that is the next step in my offer suite, in my value ladder. So I make them solution aware within that product, and I invite those people to get on a wait list for the Content Mastery Club. And sometimes I invited them to join directly. We're going to talk about that in selling. But essentially, I was using organic content marketing and other products in my business, which were actually sold a lot of the time via paid marketing to create visibility for the Content Mastery Club. So again, these things don't need to be complicated. These were the two main ways that I was getting this offer in my business seen. And one of those ways actually directly generated me income as well, which is the mind-blowing power of low ticket digital offers through my digital product to profit strategy is that I was getting paid to get people on my email list, to get in front of my ideal client and show them why I was the one for them by actually truly solving some issues for them or helping them achieve some desires in this one-time passive product, and then also having an opportunity to make them solution aware of their next stage and calling them to get onto that list or move directly to this next offer. So it always just blows my mind anytime I get to talk about the digital product to profit method and the outcomes that this could have, but this was one of them. So that has been partly largely responsible for the success of the Content Mastery Club. And I am not unique when it comes to this success, because my students and my clients who are putting in organic content marketing, who are putting in low ticket digital offers through this digital product to profit method are seeing this success as well. We have to stop overcomplicating things and start looking for strategies that work to get us seen, loved, selling, and scaling. And damn good organic content marketing that just stops focusing on vanity metrics and starts moving on actual consumer connection, compelling them and converting them. And then low ticket digital product strategies, which have all of these benefits, are two of the ways that I cannot stress enough can get any next offer in your business seen, loved, selling, and scaling. But for me, these were both directly responsible for this success of this membership success and milestones that we've now achieved. So of course, once you're getting visibility, the thing that you're getting visible matters so much, because yes, we can get anything seen, but if it is not the right offer, it's not going to move to that selling point, which brings us to the next step of this Content Marketing Club membership success, which is having this product and offer be loved when people saw that. And the reason why it was loved is because it was, in inverted commas, the right offer for my people. And we've spoken about this before on the podcast, but it really, to me, comes down to aligning your offers with your customer journey. Again, so often people are feeling lost for offer ideas, or their offer suite feels confusing, or they really can't get the messaging right for offers. It feels a little bit like just can't find those right words to explain why someone needs that. And so often it is because this doesn't actually fit as part of their customer journey perfectly. And when I created my customer journey, which is my offer suite and my value ladder, I have A to B, which is my low ticket digital product. Somebody has an immediate pain point, an immediate desire, and we can immediately serve that through some kind of passive offer. And then we have this next step in their journey. Now, for me, that is where my membership comes in. But essentially it's saying, hey, this is where you are right now. You want to get to this point in your business, and this will help you get there. So in my business, people get seen, loved, selling, and scale. But the Content Mastery Club is to essentially help people get seen, loved, and selling, right? When I talk about scaling, I'm talking about time freedom, financial freedom, impact, explosions. And that really comes down to digital offers, offer suites, funnel marketing, digital marketing, that type of stuff that I teach at the Scalable Business School. So that's not in the Content Mastery Club. But what people do first is a lot of them go through the Content Mastery Club to start to get that initial traction and then go, okay, amazing. I'm getting these results with my content marketing. I can now see that there's opportunities for different offers, or there's opportunities to step more into a CEO role and step back from being the doer and actually create some leverage type products that can actually sell at scale and all of those types of things. So the Content Mastery Club is just part of that customer journey. It is essentially saying to people, you want to build a business, you need to get seen, loved, and selling. And this program will help you to do that. So it is the customer journey from A to B in that low ticket digital product, and then from, let's say, like B to T in the next step. And that just makes it so easy to connect with your customer, to meet them where they are and say, this is where you are right now. This is where you want to be. You need to take these steps. And that is inside this program. And then a little bit more than that as well, because our customer journey will often make up the core of our membership. And when we can put it in a seamless pathway, which we're going to talk about in scaling, that is just absolutely a, in inverted commas, secret to membership success, when we have a pathway inside that really facilitates this customer journey. But also it then comes down to looking what other elements this offer can have to make it really enticing, to understand what are some of those other pain points, desires, desires, friction points that your community have that can sometimes set memberships apart from courses. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love courses. I offer them in my business for certain transformations. I love memberships as well. But you get to decide what type of offer you want for you, for your lifestyle. I really didn't want to be in that feast or famine cycle that can come from course launching. I really wanted recurring membership. For me, the membership was also about not saying goodbye to people if they didn't want to say goodbye either. It really allowed me to serve long-term and ongoing while still having complete freedom and flexibility in my own life as well, and still being able to be in that person's life with essentially no end date to memberships. So this is why I picked that, but also memberships can help meet customer needs in particular ways as well. So people often have ongoing needs in part of their journey. So once I help people figure out how to get seen, loved, and selling through organic content marketing, they have the skills, but they're going to need to keep doing the work, right? Over time. Like, it's not something we do once, put it in place, and then kind of forget about it or walk away. In our businesses, organic content marketing is ongoing. So I'm able to get people through to their success through a pathway, but then I'm also able to continue to serve them even on top of or after that pathway and things that they can recognize they need as well. And for me, that's templates, that's audit sessions, that's special events. It's all of those types of things that can go on top, which also can make memberships so successful and have amazing longevity as well. And we're going to talk more about that in scale. But essentially, it really just comes down to finding the right offer. And I know that that might sound simple, but it really can be that simple to see success when you take the time to plan out your ideal customer journey, when you take the time to research where they are right now, where they want to be, what they identify that they need, the pain points, desires, friction points that they are having, and then really use your knowledge to be like, okay, you are at point this, you want to get to point this, you understand that you're going to need some of this in there. You also have pain points and desires around this. Well, I'm going to make an offer that gets you from that point to that point, that shows you that those things you want are included. I'm also going to include not just what you want, but what I know you need. And the icing on the cake of that is that I am going to continue to add these extra elements as well that are going to amplify your customer journey, amplify your success, and if you want, keep you around longer term as well for retention. So that is the next stage, is obviously in this success journey that I've gone on with this membership, is to get something that people love seeing, right? And then we need to get it selling. So once I'm getting traffic and it's getting to an offer that people are like, okay, yeah, this is for me, I have to make that sale. And this has really come down to, for me, using actually a very simple sales model, which is making sure I have well-nurtured traffic. So be that through my organic content marketing, putting people onto an email list, and then nurturing them through just, again, content marketing, talking pain points, desires, aspirations, social proof, transformations, my own brand and story in there as well. And then moving those people to a sales page, which really goes through, and we've spoken about the importance of sales pages before, and connects with them, compels them, removes any objections, and converts them as well. So I used a direct sales model 99.9% of the time with this membership. And again, I have done this with my low ticket membership and my high ticket membership. And the reason why I don't need complicated sales funnels for these things is because people actually go on a journey with me. That is the point of having a value ladder. So even when I'm selling something higher ticket, a lot of the time people have come from an offer before that. They know why I'm the one. They know my brand. They know my heart. They know my soul. They know my outcomes. They've worked with me before. So again, it's such an easy sell. There are so many people who are trying to sell high ticket things cold, and you can absolutely sell stuff like that, but it often requires a longer customer journey, a longer sales funnel, sales calls, appointment setters, complicated live launches, any of those types of things. And don't get me wrong, if that lights you up, hell yeah, keep doing it. But for me, I actually like to be able to really just have less friction getting people into my products by moving them through the value ladder. And so I simply, in inverted commas, go through and I use a nurtured audience, either from organic social media as one, which I said the other place that I nurture, remember, is in my low ticket digital offers. Actually serving people is a form of nurturing. And then I make them solution aware within these products as well to say, hey, congratulations, you just achieved this. Like if you're ready for the next step, I'd love to help you as well. It's called the Content Mastery Club. We open a few times a year, like get your name on the list. Or I use my quiet cash, which we're going to talk about in a second, to say, hey, your next step is the Content Mastery Club and it's open right now. Here's the sales page for that. But either way, I'm driving nurtured traffic to a sales page that does a damn good job at showing people why this right offer is right for them, because our sales page and our messaging matters so much, right? We can have simple sales funnels if everything in that funnel does the job it is supposed to. So this is really how I've got this program selling. However, there are a few extra things that I do want to say that I have done along with this and experimented with and seen success. And if I wanted to scale this membership further, which we talk about in a second, I would employ some of these. So what am I talking about here? So essentially most of the time that I have gotten people into this membership, it has been through open closed cart. So I have gotten people off social media into my email list. I have nurtured them. I have got them through my digital product and then onto some solution awareness around this product. And then a lot of the time onto a wait list for the Content Mastery Club. And then all I simply do is open the doors, send some emails out about the Content Mastery Club following like my People and Profit Pathway formula for like launch emails, and invited them to the sales page and people sign up. Again, roughly 50-50 come from either of those channels, be it nurtured via low ticket or nurtured via organic social media. And so that has been so simple, but there have been times I have done other things. So one of the things that I have done, I call this quiet cash. And this is a lot of the time strategies that you actually can't see going on in people's businesses that are helping making them successful. And so for me, what I have actually done in the background on occasion is created these quiet cash pathways where someone can go direct from one of my seen strategies, be that my low ticket digital offer in this scenario, and they can actually come straight into the Content Mastery Club. And I have done this on occasion. Normally what would happen is someone would get an invite in the digital product or be made solution aware, and then they would go on a wait list to join the Content Mastery Club. The external community through content marketing is also going on that same wait list. And then I'm using an open closed cart model to invite people to check out the sales page and then people buy from there. So you can see that little funnel happening, right? I'm getting seen in two places. I'm funneling them to the one email list and then I'm launching there to get them to the sales page. But what I would actually do from time to time is if the club had space for a little bit of a top up. So the club is actually a capped club. I'm going to talk about that in a second in scale. But let's say, my club cap is around 500 people. If I saw it was down to, let's say, 450 people and I wasn't planning an open closed invite for a little while because my emails and my social media generally were being used for something else at that time, what I would do is just create these quiet cash pathways where I might go back to my VIP list and just say, hey, do you guys want to join? There's some spots available. And literally just send an email out to the couple of hundred people that are on the wait list at the moment to literally say, congrats, because you were so proactive and put your name on this list. You're getting an invite no one else is seeing today. Easy. 1 or 2 emails and I've got 40, 50 people back in the club, because remember, these people are nurtured already and this sales page really does its job to communicate in the right way about the right offer. Or what I would do is actually directly after someone was offered the low ticket thing that they've purchased, I would give them time to go through that thing because that's really important, right? They obviously have a pain point and a journey to go on. And then I would have some automated invites go out and say, hey, congratulations, you just finished Complete Content 24/7, or you've just worked on your emails. Well, do you want to go to the next stage in your journey, which is mastering content as a whole? Come into the Content Mastery Club. There's actually a secret invite for you right now. There's capped spots. This invite is open for you for 3 days. After that, I'll give it to somebody else. And so essentially that is what I was doing for a period of time as well. Now, I don't always do either of those quiet cash things. These are just choices I have in my business. If the Content Mastery Club has space, more space than what is normal between launches because people have graduated or the economy's changed or whatever it might be. And I have had more people leave the club than I potentially anticipated between launches because retention is something to consider in memberships as well. I would do these elements. And so the other element that I also have played around with, and I hinted at this before, is actually running like a masterclass to nurture people even more to sign up for the club, and also some paid ads retargeting. Now, here's the thing. Having an event in your nurture period for people is amazing. Like, it can be brilliant, whether it's an evergreen event, like something that you've recorded once and you just run it out in an email sequence, or whether you want to do like live masterclasses, they can be brilliant. But I found I didn't need them. I was hitting all of my launch goals just from people being nurtured through my organic content marketing and my low ticket digital products to the numbers I needed to reach my caps. Because here's the thing, right? And we really need to remember this. Marketing is in response to our goals. So if I had a goal to get 500 people in one go into the Content Mastery Club, and I only, in inverted commas, had 300 warm people on my VIP list, well, then I instantly know that I need to get visible. I need to get seen and loved in other ways in order to hit this selling goal. So then I would be running masterclasses, paid ads, collaboration. I'd be doing all these extra strategies to get more people into this kind of nurtured pool, people who are ready to convert to an offer. But what I was finding is I only needed 50 people, 60 people, 100 people to get back to my club goal, my capped goal. And I had 300, 400, 500 people on a wait list. In fact, sometimes I've had to stop launches early because I have filled up spots earlier than I expected. So my marketing didn't need those things in order for me to reach my goals and needs. Okay. I really want you to hear that. So my masterclass strategy worked beautifully, but anytime I did it, I normally had to go over my cap because remember, there's a bit of flexibility here. We set these own rules for ourselves. We're allowed to break them. And so sometimes I'd have to go over my cap because there was so much interest in this program because I'd run a masterclass, or I would have to close a launch early. And so I actually just decided to stop doing these masterclasses, to stop running retargeting strategies because I didn't need them, but they were certainly an option there for me. And if in the future I decide to raise the club cap again, they are potentially things that I would start doing. So maybe you would see me do them in the future if I had decided that that was a space that was able to hold more people and still stay true to my ethics and values and my idea of time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom, right? Because I don't scale programs in sacrifice for those things that I wanted to create for myself as well. You can see this happy middle ground here where the club has made $1 million for my business, even while staying true to my lifestyle, to my needs, to my vision of time and location freedom. So I really want you to hear that. We can have our cake and eat it too. We can create scalable programs that serve with so much soul and get the most amazing outcomes at scale for people at this incredible level of impact, and still have boundaries and scope and kind of rules that we put into these things for ourselves so we don't lose the things we love as well. And the club has definitely been that for me. And I have that cap on that, both so I can truly serve true to my values, to the people in there, but also stay true to myself as well and have just so much time and leverage and, freedom and flexibility in my life also. So that's really how I was able to achieve this success in terms of selling. So we've been through seen, we've been through loved, we've been through selling. So once you're getting your offer seen, once you're getting it loved, once you're getting people inside, with memberships, what we also need to focus on is having that scalability, just like any offer, by making sure we are leveraging our knowledge. Now, what does that mean? It means not setting up models where we need to be hands-on, where in order to get outcomes, we need to be pouring in significant unleverageable support. So that's one-to-one work. That's done for somebody work. So in the club, I really made sure from day one, and I've tweaked and changed it and perfected it over time, but really looking at ways that I could leverage my knowledge. Now, the very first thing that I did was film that pathway to success and get that in there and really make sure that this pathway supported people's outcomes to get them where they needed to be, almost in a completely passive way, to where I didn't need to be there in order to to get them where they wanted to be. But when I was doing my offer research, I also knew that business owners wanted an element of support. They wanted an element of extra shortcuts. They wanted an element of community. So I put that in my offer. It definitely rung true to me. I felt good about it. I was like, you need it. I feel good about it. Let's pop it in there. This is awesome. We're both so happy. And so I had these elements in there, but truly this pathway on its own is able to carry most of the load for me in getting people's transformations. And where it hasn't, where I have found that I am then carrying the load because one of the modules didn't cover this thing, or people needed to go deeper in that, or they're always like, it kind of makes sense, but can you give me an example for my niche, or blah, 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 whatever it was. When I identified that there were elements that I wasn't actually leveraging as best as I could to have like almost a one and done model, I was tweaking things. And I really want you to hear this. One of the best ways that we can scale our programs is by tweaking and pivoting the program itself to do more of the work for us. So whenever I've released a course, right? So Scalable Business School is done. It's ready to be released. I know that potentially I will go back and edit elements of that. That's already in my head. I'm already building that into my plan to profit for the year to say to myself, okay, I'm going to make sure that I am going over questions being asked, going over elements where I'm being more hands-on, and go back and infuse more of that into the program. So that is definitely one of the very first things that has allowed me to scale this. So you have to remember that I've scaled this membership to serving 500 incredible people every month with no full-time team and nobody else serving in this community. So I have my beautiful right-hand woman back at house who helps me do things like take people in and out of the membership Facebook group, that helps me to send people cancellations if their payments have been missed. Like, she's helping me manage those types of things. She creates some templates for the Content Mastery Club. She is like an amazing graphic designer and helps in that element as well. And so there are these deliverables that I have been able to smartly get some part-time help for. But essentially, I've created a program that I can have 500 people inside every single month, generating multiple 5 figures every single month in profit, not needing a full-time team, because this takes me hours. It's just hours a week. I don't know, some weeks I'd spend 5 hours in the Content Mastery Club. Some hours I might spend 15. Like, these are loose numbers. I've actually never really spent that much time figuring out exactly how much time is in there because it's not an issue. Like, it's so little time in inverted commas, and I've got so much freedom and flexibility in my life, even while serving these 500 people, that I've never really actually sat down and counted the numbers exactly to give you an average. But it is one beautiful part of my week that I enjoy doing so much while still having so much extra time, while having 500 people in this space with like no fear or no pressure that I wouldn't be able to meet their needs, because the pathway does this. And the way that I have pivoted that pathway and made sure that that pathway is truly supporting people. And I want to say this, it's not just about the pathway as well. I've also put things in there now like the ChatGPT bots, like a template library, like a little tech library. I've gone through and also added other elements to this program to also get people amazing outcomes while making sure strategically I am also creating a program that is so light for me to run. So what I'm doing is my only real role in the Content Mastery Club is to strategically stay on top of my game to make sure everything in the club is still working. And if not, go and change that part of the club. But it is really just to be there to deliver the monthly elements that I committed to out of choice because I love them. And for me, that's checking the question requests every business day and just spending hours, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more, just answering questions that I absolutely love to answer. And those answers are leverageable because other people read them and learn from that as well. So they're learning from osmosis, which is what I love about membership communities also, is it one question and one 15-minute response from me can ricochet into other people's lives and it just goes so much further than that 15 minutes. It's like 15 minutes times 500 people. And then all of a sudden that 15 minute has helped so many other people in there. It's just so worth that 15 minutes in the long run. So this is another thing as well. So when it comes down to being able to actually scale a membership, particularly a low ticket membership like this, right? Like I know I started off with the goal of having 100 people, but once I hit that almost, I think the very first launch, I'd have to go back and check that. But I hit this and then I was like, oh, there's something here. Like I'm going to create some goals around this. And it was 200, 300, 400, 500 people, but I intentionally scaled this, right? And as I was setting those things, I was saying, okay, so I'm at 200 people now. If I want to scale this to 300 and I want to keep working in the same same amount, but with more people, where are the gaps? Where are the holes? What do I need to do? What do I need to include? What needs to happen? And for some people, it's okay to hire teams to do that for you. It's just that I didn't need to do that. So when I say that I have done this without a full-time team, like that's not a badge of honor. That was just my reality. I don't want you to think that when I'm saying things like that, it means that you should always forego having a team. I just, with so much love and respect, did not want a team. My whole career, I've managed people and I wanted to move away from that and actually just serve people and live my life without a mass load of direct reports to me. So that's the only reason why I've decided not to like build a team of amazing consultants that would serve in the club and then price that accordingly or whatever. I'm really happy to use this business model this way. But it did mean anytime I was intentionally scaling to make sure that the leveraged assets, elements, pathways were doing the job for me. And then in terms of scaling a membership, so we've covered getting seen, right? And like how, in inverted commas, simple that can be. Loved how easy it can be to get selling, whether that's low ticket or high ticket, if you're using like a value ladder and the right elements in that nurture journey to step someone from one to the next thing. When we're talking about scaling, obviously the program matters, but there's a few extra things as well in there that I really want to highlight were one of the keys to success in being able to create $1 million and thousands of people served in the most incredible way. And that was actually me and working on myself and who I needed to be to hold and run this membership. So hell yes, it comes down to the skills to get seen, the skills to make offers that get loved, the skills to have the people and profit pathways to get selling and to be experimenting with other things, right? So those things absolutely mattered. But on top of that, even once I had mastered and nailed those things, it also really came down to me being the engine behind this business and making sure that I had the elements I needed to be able to scale this. So some of the ones that come to mind for this is really scope and boundaries around that. So as I said earlier in the episode, this Content Mastery Club is one part of my customer journey. There is another part after that that people can either come into straight away or move to, which is like scaling businesses using low ticket offers, memberships, courses, people and profit pathways. All this stuff I've talked about is in the Scalable Business School, right? And so what I had to do was really hold that scope and say the Content Mastery Club is for this, and whatever my next offer will be, even when it didn't exist, is for these other things. And anything outside of that is outside of scope. And I had to protect that because it's protection for me, but it's also protection for the people that I want to serve or the people that I'm serving right now. And this really took me time to get comfortable with and to really get completely confident. But I really had to realize that there was a period of time there where I had a scope for the club and I was going outside that scope. So people would ask me questions about offers or about this or about that. And I would be like, what's the worst that can happen? I'll just answer this one offer. Oh, let's answer this one question about the offer. And then the next day I would see somebody else pushing the scope a little bit further. And then 3 days later, somebody else would. And I kept answering these things. And I realized that the worst thing that could happen was happening, and I was destroying the integrity of what I had built and the leverageability of what I had built and the clarity of what I had built and the promise that I had made to the people that were coming in that. Because I also had to realize that people come into this space to learn about content mastery. That was my promise to them. And that was the thing that every single person in there was interested in. And while there's always variables and nuances in people's content mastery journey, 90% of the questions that were being asked were really beneficial to everybody, and they could see anything in their Facebook group or whatever it might be and be benefited by that. And by starting to answer these questions that were out of scope, like I have e-commerce businesses in there and all of a sudden I was answering questions about holding a membership, right? And that just was no longer serving the people who had come in for content mastery who weren't interested in memberships or any way, shape or form. And so I really had to say to myself, there are so many reasons, good reasons for everyone involved for boundaries and scope to exist. And that was really something that I had to practice when I was learning to scale this business as well, was empathetically communicating with people like, this is a great question, but I'm sorry, the club isn't the right place for it. And certainly when I do know where the answers are, sometimes when I'm declining posts in Facebook or whatever, I'll say like, but go type this into like Reddit or Google using this search term, you'll find the answer there. something that can take like 10 seconds and it's private between me and that person. Again, even if I knew the answer, I would not go into depth about it. If there's another program, I'd say like, hey, we actually do this in the Scalable Business School. This isn't part of the Content Mastery Club. I'd love to see you over there if that is right for you. So that's really an element of scaling that was so important. And I wanted to cover both of those things first because they actually both then directly lead to the next thing as well, which is one of the biggest elements of seeing at scale success with a membership and just easier success for you and more satisfying success. And that is the word retention. And when you have a membership, you are always going to have a portion of people leaving, right? That is absolutely hands down just a fact of what goes on. And so roughly, we can expect to lose about 5% of our members each month. That's like gold standard. 10% is like absolutely great. No issues there, if you will, like in inverted commas. You try and bring it down a little bit to that 5% mark, but you can on average expect to lose 5 to 10% of your members every month, and that just be basically normal. If you're losing over 10% of your members each month, you really need to be focusing on retention. But those two things that I just spoke about, really having this pathway and elements that just deliver true outcomes that people can access at any time with complete convenience. And when we spoke about that loved element before about having the right offer, people genuinely love being inside this space, right? And then if you as the leader are making sure that you are showing up and that you are making sure that people have a great experience, but also make sure through actions like scope and boundaries and work on yourself that this space is staying true to what the promise was and fulfilling that. And there's none of these friction points of now people seeing this or seeing that and it not quite being right for them. Your retention will really be something that is somewhat of a non-issue for you. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot to go into here in terms of retention. There are other things that we can do to really see higher retention, and there's just too much to cover in this podcast episode. But one of the elements of scaling a membership is making sure we are retaining our members. That way we are bringing in members, we are keeping them minus a little bit of a churn or a little bit of normal, like people leaving. That is absolutely just to be expected. And then you're inviting more people into it and the numbers are going up and up and up instead of always just inviting 100 people in, 100 people leave. You need to get 100 new people, 100 people leave. You can see here that's not going to be ideal. So, the way to scale is to get it to 100, then you might drop back down to 80, then you might bring 50 more people in, you might be at 130, you might lose 20 people, and then next time you might scale to 200 people. You can see how this works, right? That's really the type of pattern that we want. We don't want these big chunks of people leaving. And the way that we can do that is by having a program people love and running it in a way that they love as well. And one of the other things when I said that I also had to work on myself as a membership owner or a scalable business owner in terms of scope or boundaries, which again directly relate to retention, because that example I gave you before with an e-commerce person now all of a sudden feeling that this isn't a space for them, they're not getting value, blah, 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 like because it's the questions that they're seeing that are taking up their time and their headspace aren't actually relevant for them a majority of the time now instead of a minority of the time. If we allow this scope to creep, that can really cause retention issues. But probably one of the bigger elements that I worked on in myself, and so do many other membership owners, scalable business owners who are heart-centered and heart-led as well, have to also deal with, is over-delivery. And the reason that over-delivery is such an issue to actually having spaces that fulfill our mission and also obviously build us amazing, sustainable, scalable businesses is that the number one reason people leave memberships is actually overwhelm, where they feel like they can't keep up or there's too much going on. And one of the things I had to learn is that I needed to pace myself and obviously have a pathway in the club and the resources that people can get their complete journey in there, right? And then work through this at their own pace and have that clearly communicated to them. But I had this mentality of like after coming from corporate and when basically like you got paid for 38 hours a week and so you did 38 hours a week worth of work. I almost say when I work 5 to 15-ish hours a week in the club now, it's a point of pride for a different reason apart from like time, flexibility and freedom and all of those types of things, is that back in the day when I first started this membership, I would literally sit there and think, what else can I do? What else can I put in? What else can I say? What post can create for the community today? Maybe I can add this thing on top. And I had to actually take a step back when I was focusing on my own retention in the very beginning to find out how I could get the best retention rates possible, because I wanted to keep serving people throughout their whole journey and have a sustainable business. I literally had to say to myself, like, stop doing so much. You are going to overwhelm people. Like, does this post really have to go up today? Or can you create a masterclass on this in like a month or two's time? Because one of the deliverables in the club is already a masterclass each month built in. I have space in there to be able to already go over and above. I don't need to deliver the masterclass and then also think about the next 6 months worth of masterclass topics and want to deliver elements of all of those today, right? And so it really came between this balance of asking myself, are people going to get the outcomes they need to deliver on the promise with what's already in there? The answer needs to be yes, because that's what the core of the membership is. But do they need this extra, like, not even icing on the cake thing? Like, the icing on the cake was already built into the memberships. This is like the candles on the icing on the cake. Like, do they really need that element in order to have this, beautiful feast? No, they absolutely don't. The candles are nice. We can deliver them in the future when it's not going to overwhelm people, not make people feel like there's just too much to keep up with now in terms of a membership, that they're not getting their money's worth because they're not using everything. This is a real psychological element for some people in membership. It doesn't matter if you don't use everything. If you're still paying for what you need and what you need's in there, it's amazing. That's not how everybody's brain works. They go, oh my gosh, there's too much in here. I'm not using it. I'm not getting value for money. I'm going to leave. Or just that feeling of overwhelm. And we are quite quick to try and run away from pain rather than to run towards pleasure. And so people, instead of sticking it out and sitting with their overwhelm or whatever, actually go, no, the easiest thing to do is actually leave, to run away from this feeling of overwhelm. You will have people leaving because of that. And so it was really important for me as a membership owner and many, many, many other membership owners to make sure overwhelm is not being created within the programs. And again, that is really something that is pivotal to scaling. So there you have it. Thank you for joining me in this episode. I never thought I would be recording if you had asked me a few years ago, but one that I am absolutely so proud and honored to be able to present to you today, and that it hopefully inspires your journey. Whatever your business goal is, I want you to know that you can blow your own damn mind. And just like I broke down today in terms of getting things seen, loved, selling, and scaling, I really hope that you take the time to break down how in your business you can make your dream programs, offers, goals, your reality by looking at ways you will get seen, loved, selling, and scaling as well. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Seen, Love, Selling, Scale podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired, fired up, and empowered to make serious moves that align with your goals and version of success, both in life and business. If you loved what you heard, head over to www.thisisco.com.au to find all the links and resources mentioned in today's episode. And if you aren't already following the show, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss a future episode when it drops. I'll see you again next week, same time, same place, same goal to get you seen, loved, selling, and scaling. See you then.